Hello everyone, and welcome to the second series of my Sims 4 Animation tutorials. Today, we will create our very first animation using EA poses. Yes, you heard that right. We are going to use in-game EA animations to extract poses and use them in our very own animation. Yes, disclaimer. I do not endorse stealing animations from other creators. However, we can use EA's animations since you paid for them when you purchased the game, making them legally permissible. Said this, let's get started. First, we are going to open the EA female rig that we saved in the first video of this series. Now, let's open Sims 4 Studio. Make sure that the click pack is selected and click the animation button. You can give it any name as we are just going to be using it to extract the EA animation that we want to use. For the purpose of this tutorial, I will save it as EA pose to copy so that I can reference it later. Now, go to the Clip tab and select EA Clip. Select the rig you want to use. In this case, it will be Adult Female. Then click Export. A window will pop up containing all the EA clips that are allowed to be exported. The naming of these clips have a significance. I do not know all of them, but I will list here the ones that I know. You can pause the video to take your notes. I selected Acid Rain Reaction. I left the name of the EA animation so that I can locate it later. Then I click Save. We now can close the EA Export Clip window. When we do that, a new window's pop up showing us the blend file we just exported. Double-click on it and wait for the file to open in Blender. Let's click the play button to see the animation we just downloaded. Okay, now that we have seen the animation, we are going to move the timeline to pick a pose that we want to copy. I am selecting this pose. Let's click A to select the bones of this position. Then, click Ctrl-C to copy the positions of all the bones. Minimize this window and go back to the rig we open at the beginning of this video. Now, click A to select all the bones of this rig, and then click Ctrl-V to paste the copied pose. Now, let's lock rot this pose. Click A to select all the bones, click I to open the menu, then select Location and Rotation. And that's it! You have copied an EA pose from the game. Okay, let's go back to the EA animation and copy another pose. Remember, move the timeline until you find the pose you like. Then click A to select all the bones. Click Ctrl-C to copy the position of the bones. Now head back to your Blender file. Go ahead and expand the ending of the animation in the timeline so you can later play the animation. Move the timeline line. I moved it to 5 frames. Perfect. Now click the rig and click A to select all the bones. Then click Ctrl-V to paste the copied pose. And don't forget to lock rot the pose. Click A, then I, then Location and Rotation. Cool, this looks good, so I will do this one more time. Main things to remember here are, go to the pose you like, click A, then click Ctrl-C. This will copy the pose. Then go back to your animation blender file and move the timeline line so that you don't override an already saved pose. Then click A, Ctrl V, and this will paste the copied pose to your Blender animation file. Remember to save the pose by clicking A, I, Lock Rot. Remember that at the beginning of this tutorial, I mentioned that an animation is just a series of poses put together? Well, here you can see it. Once you are done with the EA animation, you can close it and there is no need to save it. Now, I am going to go back to Sims 4 Studio and I will choose another animation. The idea is that my animation do what I want, so I will try it by combining multiple EA poses and manually tweaking anything I need to. Okay, I have copied 3 poses from the playing guitar animation. Now, let me show you how to copy existing poses from your Blender file and repeat them to make a loop. First thing you want to do is extend the end time of your animation so that you can add more poses. Then, use your mouse left button to select the animations you want to duplicate. Click Ctrl-C to copy the poses. Move the timeline line so that you don't override existing poses. Then click Ctrl-V to paste the copied poses. If you do it multiple times, you can have a loop. Now, I want the animation to end with a resting pose, so I am going to select it from the 15 frame, copy and paste it at the end of the timeline. And lock rot the pose to save it. When you play the animation, you see the loop for the rig playing the guitar. I want the animation to start with a resting pose, so I will move the poses in the timeline to make space for the resting initial pose. To do this, extend the timeline, select all the poses in the timeline, click G in your keyboard, and use the arrows or the mouse to push the poses forward. Then copy the resting position and paste it at the beginning of the timeline. Lock rot the pose and adjust the poses in the timeline as needed. I pushed them to far, so I am now moving them close to each other. Let's play the animation and see how it looks. Okay, I like it. Let's save the animation so that we can test in-game. Remember, to save the animation, click the auto keyframing button in the timeline and lock rot the beginning and end of the timeline. Then adjust the end of the timeline as needed. See, I had to make it short. Now, click File, then Save As, locate the folder where you want to save the Blender file, and give it a name. I am closing all the windows to clear my desktop. Now, let's create the animation package in Sims4 Studio. As a refresher, I will list the steps of creating a package file. We saw the step-by-step process in my previous video. Once the package is saved, remember to copy it into the Sims4 mod folder so that it shows in game. All right, let's see how it looks in game. First pose, I'll do it with Wicked, and the second with the teleporter. Great job, everyone! It looks fantastic! This is the simplest way to create your own animation, and I chose this method so you can start making your animations more quickly. I encourage you to experiment with creating your own poses from scratch to get comfortable with the keys and everything, Blender. I hope to see your own creation soon! Next video will be how to use MOCAP animations. Until the next video, see you then! And thanks for watching.